Alright, so this idea popped into my head to do I guess a tier list on the Souls games, on kind of like a ranking. So there's 7 of them, and I'm gonna rank them on worst to best, I guess. I'm gonna have controversial opinions. I know I'm going to, but any tier list or anything like that for Soulsborne games, always controversial. So it is what it is, I guess. But let's start off with number 7. I'm sorry. I don't like Dark Souls 2, man. I don't like it. It's not a good game. Yeah, it's not good. It's okay. It's not a bad game. I don't think it's bad, but it's okay. There are some good ideas in Dark Souls 2. Like, Majula is one of the best hub worlds. Majula's theme is great. The whole bonfire aesthetic is cool. Power stancing was introduced. Power stancing is a great mechanic. What else? Eliminating enemies in an area. Enough of them they won't respawn anymore. I think that's a cool idea. But some cool things, but a lot of negatives. Bosses are just not good at all. There's not a single boss that stands out to me in Dark Souls 2. Especially the final boss. The final boss is supposed to hit, but final boss does not hit in this game. Iframes through fog walls, you don't get them till a certain point. You don't have them all the time. You don't get them till a certain point. So that makes bosses runbacks even worse, like Smelter Demon, for example. Which boss runbacks, another negative. The adaptability stat, another negative. The areas just suck. I don't like the areas. Just a bunch of enemies thrown into together in a bunch of BS. It's just not fun. It's just I don't know. I don't enjoy this game as much as some people do, because there are some Dark Souls 2 lovers out there. I'm a Dark Souls 2 hater. I just am. It's my least favorite game of the Soulsborne franchise, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. But yeah, it's just not fun. Not fun. I beat it, and I can't lie, while I was playing it, the more I played it, I was like, bro, I just want to get this over with. I was like, just let the suffering end. I've only played through it once, and I don't plan on playthroughing it again. All these other games, I played through multiple times. Dark Souls 2 is the only one that I've touched once, never again. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I've played all the DLC, and the only 2 bosses I like, Burnt Ivory King I hate. Hot take, trash boss. You have to fight waves of COD zombies before you get to the boss, and that's just not fun. Not fun. Let me just fight the boss, man. Why do I gotta fight ads before I fight it, But Fume Knight and Sir Alone, only cool bosses. Their lore is good, and the boss is fun. And Sir Alone 2, on top of that, if you no-hit him, he does seppuku, which is awesome. Only boss that does it. Unique animation. I think that's cool. But having only 2 bosses stand out from the rest, not a good look, man. But Dark Souls 2 is my least favorite, number 7. Oh, also, the whole health thingy, if you die, you slowly lose health. Dumb. Just dumb. And they brought that over from Demon Souls, which Demon Souls is number 6. Demon Souls is a good game. Not an okay game, not a great game. A good game. I played the remake. I didn't play not Dark Souls 3, what the hell? PlayStation 3 version of it. I played the remake. The remake is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous remake. The game was fun. The iframes are great. Compared to Dark Souls 2, at least. But there's a lot of negatives. There's not a lot of greats, or goods at least. The bosses, they're all gimmick bosses. For example, Dragon God. Dragon God is just, he's a boss that looks cool, and then he just end up you have to hide from him most of the time. Okay, he looks away. Now it's time to go run, shoot this arrow into his arm. Oh, he saw me, one shot. Now I gotta do the whole thing over and over again. It's so disappointing. There's only a couple bosses that are like, not gimmick bosses, and that's Flame Lurker, the Penetrator, and then False King Allant. Which, Flame Lurker is like the only boss in Demon Souls that actually gave me somewhat trouble. But those are fun. Those are fun bosses. But everything else, all the bosses in Demon Souls are just, at least the others, not fun. But like those, and then the health thing too that they put in Dark Souls 2, where if you die, you only have 50% of your health whenever you respawn, or if you get a ring, you can make it 75%. It's just not a fun mechanic, and that's where the difficulty comes from. And also, it's super easy. These games are supposed to be hard, It's just not a bunch of stands out, but oh my god, why can't I talk? Not a bunch stands out. There we go. Yeah, that's number 6. Number 5, it feels painful putting Dark Souls at number 5. Because it's a great game. I can't put it in S though because of one reason, and I'll get to it. But it has so many iconic bosses. Ornsing and Smo, the Belfry Gargoyles, bro, I can't remember the boss's name for the life of me. But since it's Sin's Fortress, right? Sin's Fortress. The Iron Golem. That's an iconic boss fight, I feel like. Belfry Gargoyles, Quelaag, all those bosses are iconic. And the first half of the game is fantastic. Leading up to Anor Londo, ringing the 2 bells, getting to Anor Londo for the first time, your breath is taken away. And then you fight Ornsing and Smo, which is like the first challenge, the only challenge in my opinion of the game is Ornsing and Smo. It's the perfect duo boss fight. One's fast, one's slow. They work off of each other well, and I love it. It's just fantastic. It's a fun boss. But then you get to the second half. After you talk to Guinevere, which, chest ahead, she, gives you the teleportation, the fast travel, which that should have been available from the start, in my opinion. That's one negative for me. But the second half just dies off. Because the second half is just, go here, fight a boss, go here, fight a boss, go here, fight a boss, go here, fight a boss. And the bosses in the second half are just not that good. And the second half isn't fleshed out as much as the first half was. The first half was obviously plenty of time given, and the second half was more very obvious rush development. And not getting to do what they wanted to do. And the whole idea of getting the 4 Lord Souls is cool. That's a cool idea. But it's not executed well. And the bosses are just not that fun. The areas aren't that cool. Tomb of the Giants, don't even get me started. But Gravelord Nito, Bed of Chaos, Seath the Scaleless, the 4 Kings, which Seath the Scaleless, such a letdown. He looks so cool. Such a cool lore behind him. And then he's just hit his nutsack. Just disappointing. And then Gwen has a great theme, has a great lore, but at the end of the day, he's just such an easy boss. You can parry him, man. You just disrespect him. You turn a cool boss into a 1-minute boss, It's just disappointing. And so that's the only reason why I can't put it at S. It's just the second half. While it is still fun, it holds it back from an S. But now we got the last 4, where will I place these? Which will be number 4, Bloodborne. I already know this list is gonna be what a trash list, People are gonna get hurt, but Bloodborne, fantastic game. But for me, it doesn't compare to the other 3. The other 3, in my opinion, are just better. In my opinion, I like them more. But does it stop Bloodborne from being a fantastic game? lore behind the entire world, so cool. The weapons, so cool. The whole how you can get the combos and make the weapon extend. The bosses, so cool. Father G, freaking Gurman, you know. What is it? Cleric Beast, Orphan Akos, Lady Maria. So I like Murgo's wet nurse. I think it was a fun boss. The whole you can get the clone of it coming out. I had fun fighting that boss. But so cool, such a great game. The lore behind the bosses too, the music, fantastic. And especially Gurman's music, bro. His theme. Whoo! His theme. Hold on, we gotta listen to it. We gotta listen to his theme. Where is it? I think it's right here. I think. Yes, this is it. I'm gonna shut up. Dude, oh my god. Come on, man. Wow. Whew. Dude. I mean, that crescendo into that. Ah, so good. So good. But just, great game. Still, it's number 4. I don't place it as high as other people do, but still fantastic game. Still fantastic game. S tier in my opinion. Still a masterpiece. Just because it's number 4, I won't take away from it. Just the other games just don't. It doesn't compare to the other games for me. Sekiro, number 3. I went into this and I held off on playing this game for so long because I wasn't sure if I'd like it. I love just, the rolling aspect. I don't like parrying. And so that's why I thought, I'm not going to like it because I have to parry. It's going to force me to parry and I'm going to hate it. I said, you know what? Give it a shot. Play it like a rhythm game. And I did. And it's my number 3. Who would have thought? I sure would have. I thought that I was going to hate this game. I thought I was going to hate it more than Dark Souls 2. I don't think that's possible, but, I love it though. It's fantastic. Whenever you play through this game, and can't recommend it enough, definitely play through this game, you'll get to a certain point where the combat will click. And that is whenever the game gets even more fun. Whenever it gets to a point of, okay, instead of just spamming parry, I gotta time it. Whenever that clicks, whenever now. Whenever that clicks, fantastic. It makes the experience even better. Because then the combat becomes even better. And you're like, oh my god, I know what I'm doing now. Oh my god, these fights just got so much more fun. It's like, yeah, come at me, man. Do your full combo. I'm gonna parry everything. It feels fantastic. It makes the bosses even fun. Father Ao, Shinobi Ao, Ishin, Sorsen Ishin, Genichiro. It makes all the bosses so much fun. Curse Monk, just so much fun. So much fun. It makes everything better. And you just want to sit and just ding 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 and just trade with them the entire time. Like Genichiro, for example, his one where he goes up and does the like real fast. I can parry that all the way through now, and that feels so satisfying. So satisfying. Just having the combat click is the best feeling. And the game is gorgeous. The story is cool too. It's so cool, man. So cool. I love it, bro. I love it. Fantastic game. It's number 3, and I didn't expect it to be there. I didn't. Now next, the last 2, which will be number 1. I'm sure you guys know if you know me. Dark Souls 3. Not Dark Souls 2. Hell no, not Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 3. Number 2. This game gets shit on constantly, and I don't understand why. This game is a masterpiece in my eyes. I love this game. The bosses are probably the best bosses in the entire series. The lore, fantastic. The music behind all the bosses, fantastic. The whole Lord of Cinders thing, fantastic. At the final boss being the Soul of Cinder, and I'll get to his song, his OST here in a little. All of it coming full circle, fantastic. The DLC bosses, fantastic. Just, I love this game. And the one thing it catches flack for all the time is fan service. Fan service. Fan service. The only reason it's good, fan service. Fan service. Fan service. The game would be nothing without fan service. I don't understand that hate. Obviously, it's gonna have fan service. It's the last installment in the trilogy. They're gonna do callbacks to the other games. Why wouldn't they? And hell, I loved it. I loved it. It was great. The fan service, I don't care, man, because it paid off. It did. It made me like the game. Going back to Anne Orlando was so cool. So cool. You don't expect to, and you're like, wait a second, this is Anne Orlando. It's so cool. It's so cool, and I don't understand that. Obviously, they're gonna make callbacks and references. It's the final installment. I don't get that. Oh, game too easy. You're just gonna spam roll, bruh. The game is fantastic. I don't get the hate for it. I don't at all. I love Dark Souls 3, and the bosses, man. You got Gale, Dark Eater Midir, Soul of Cinder, Pontiff Sullivan, Nameless King, the Abyss Watchers, freaking Yorm, Prince Lothric and Lorien. Like, just so cool, man. The Demon Prince, just, I could go, just Sisterfried. I mean, I could go on and on, man. Just everything's so fantastic. And not only that, but just for me, it has the best dragon fight in any of the Souls games, which with Dark Eater Midir. And on top of that, his freaking OST. I mean, come on, man. And then you can't whack his tail, you can't whack his feet. You gotta hit him in the head, man. You gotta be aggressive. You have to learn his attack pattern. Wow, I can't talk. Makes it even better. Because guess what? If you play aggressive enough, you get a visceral to end the fight early. It's fun. It's a rewarding fight. And it's best dragon fight in any of the Souls games. Easily. And the theme. And then you got the Soul Cinder, which is the perfect callback to Gwyn with his theme and with also his face too. Fantastic. But it's not only at this peak whenever you first start the fight and you're like, holy shit, this theme is going hard. Not only that, you got this amazing thing. But then you get to this point. It's kind of dying down a little, it's relaxing. And then boom, it starts building up. It's building. It's getting there. And then you reach this all-time peak in boss music. Right here. I mean, come on. Just, come on, man. Come on. In my opinion, best OST of any boss in any of the Souls games. It's just a perfect comeback. Hearing Gwyn's theme brings a smile to my face. And fighting him for the first time and be like, oh my god, that's Gwyn's theme. And I got goosebumps from it. I did. And it was such a cool callback. And his second phase being Gwyn, it's It's so cool, man. It's such a perfect wrap up to the trilogy. I don't understand the hate behind it. Easily my number 2. But of course, if you know me, if you've watched, Elden Ring's my number 1. I've played through this game so many times. This game gets flack for replayability, easiness. Once again, don't understand that. In my opinion, it's the hardest Souls game. No other Souls games gives me as much trouble as Elden Ring does. Elden Ring kicks my ass anytime I replay through it. Now, not as much as it used to, because I've replayed through it so much, but the prior playthroughs, bosses would kick my ass, man. 10 plus tries. Now, I've got them to like 5 or less tries, because I've learned the game so much. I'm a nerd with Elden Ring, I really am. But I'm not ashamed, and you shouldn't be either. But the whole easy thing, I get, you know, you can overlevel easily. You know, there's summons, there's broken builds. I understand that. But if you do like what I do, I don't really like doing broken builds. I don't like overleveling my character. I don't like using summons. I like going in there hardcore, just hand to hand, you know? And just learning their attack patterns instead of mimic, take the aggro for me. I'm going to sit back and kick ass, you know? I'm going to have you take all the damage while I do all the damage. No, I don't like doing that. I'm getting in there and I'm going to whack away with my big sword. You know, I prefer that play style, and that play style makes the game difficult. If you do that play style, where you don't do a broken build, and you don't overlevel or use busted things, the game, in my opinion, is the hardest. But if you do all that stuff, then you can make it the easiest. And that's also what's great about Elden Ring, is it's the most accessible. If you aren't sure about playing a Souls game, because, man, bro, I've heard they're so difficult, and I feel like I won't be able to, I recommend Elden Ring, because it's more accessible, you know? It's more accessible for everyone, and that's why I think its success was so well, because it was more accessible. But it's just great, and the whole replayability thing, those people who say that, in my opinion, just do the same thing over and over. Same ending, same route, same build. Switch it up, you know? You can't really switch up the endings, of course, if you've done all 3, but, I mean, there's like the different the mending runes that you can get for the Elden Ring. You know, you could do those quest lines to get those. You could switch it up like that, or do a different route. You know, mix it up a little. Change your builds. There's so many builds you can do. There's just so much you can do. And whenever I replay through this game, the amount of times I replay through it, I can't tell you where I would see a cave and I'd be like, "This was here? What? I've never been in here before. This is a boss?" Like, the amount of times that happens is ridiculous. So that's why I don't get the whole replayability thing. I don't get that. I really don't. There's just so much to do, man. There's so much to do. You just don't explore. You just go from point A to point B. Explore, have fun. That's why it's an open world. And that's why I'm a sucker for it, and that's why it's my number 1. It was my first Souls game, but I mainly got it because everyone was hyping it. All my friends were like, "Bro, you gotta get Elden Ring. You gotta play Elden Ring." And I was like, "I'm just not sure. I've heard it's hard, you know." Play it, immediately got hooked. Open world immediately hooked me. It's a gorgeous game. It's a gorgeous game. I mean, just search it up and go to images. Look at this, man. Look at this. Look. I mean, come on. It's a gorgeous game, bro. I could go on and on and on. It's just gorgeous. And so I'm glad I caved in and bought it. I really am. I'm a sucker for open worlds, and now I'm a sucker for Souls types. So it's just two things I love mixed together, and it's just, that's why it's my number 1, and I seriously don't know how they're gonna top it. Because I am assuming that they're gonna make more Souls games, because this is FromSoft kills it with the Souls games. But for me, how they're gonna top Elden Ring, I have no idea. It's gonna be hard for Elden Ring to be topped for me. It's my favorite game of all time. It really is. I love it, man. I replay it through so much. I have so much hours in the game. The lore is just ingrained into my head. And I haven't even gotten the lore, just everything about it. The bosses, Mog, Melania, Morgoth, Radon, Rykard, freaking, just Godfrey, Radagon, Malekith, Placido Sex, Lich Dragon Forest Sex. Like, just, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It's such a good game, bro. Such a good game. I can't recommend it. Most of these games, play. Dark Souls 2, ignore it. I won't be mad at you. Ignore it. Play other games if you want, do play Demon Souls. I will say, do play Demon Souls. Even though I say it's good, do play Demon Souls. It's worth it. It's worth, especially the remake. It's worth the money. Dark Souls 2, not so much. Sorry, but these games are fun, man. Don't let the hardness stop you from playing them. Play them. If you're like, man, I really want to, go for it, man. It doesn't hurt to try something new. It really doesn't. But just fantastic games. Fantastic games. Great, man. Just great. But to recap, Dark Souls 2, number 7. Demon Souls, number 3. Dark Souls, number 4. Bloodborne. Wait. Holy. Dark Souls, number 5. Demon Souls, number 6. I had to correct myself. Bloodborne, number 4. Sekiro, number 3. Dark Souls 3, number 2. Elden Ring, number 1. I'm excited for the DLC. Hopefully it comes out soon. Which, speaking of the Rune Level 1 run, I got as far as I think I can. I wanted to try and see if I could beat it, but I've gotten as far as my skills could take me. I gave it a shot. I'm proud of myself. I wasn't sure if I could do it, and I definitely can't. I'm not that good at these games. Because it got to a point where I had to do the game hitless. I'm not good enough to do the game hitless, man. I'm not. So I reached a point where it's over. Unfortunately, I didn't plan on beating it. If I did, I was gonna be shocked. But I really didn't. So it's, it is what it is, man. I'm happy. I'm proud of myself for trying, and I'm proud of myself for as far as I made it. But yeah, I'm excited for DLC whenever that is. Hopefully soon it gets announced. Like, hey, here's the release date. It's coming out 5 years from now. I shouldn't be joking about that because it's gonna come true now. But yeah, there's my tier list. There's my listings. People are gonna be mad, but hey, man, not my problem.